purpose of this video is to share with you how to create a passage in Schoolnet. We're going to begin with going to the Assessment Admin tab, and we're going to go to Create, and then we go to Create a Passage. The name of our passage, we're going to entitle it the same as the passage that we are borrowing for this instructional purpose. And the name of that passage is Copycat Elephants. So we're going to type in here our title, Copycat Elephants. All right, so our subject is going to be English, Language, and Literature. The grade level is going to be 3rd grade. And the way that we're going to do this is we have put this passage of ours into a Word document, and we're going to do something called Paste from Word. I'm going to go out to our Word document. Here it is. And we're going to copy. And we're going to go back to this screen and paste from Word. And it's Control V, or in my case, because I'm using a Mac, it's Command V. And so as you can see, it's pretty well hung on to the formatting. And so we'll simply insert it once we're ready. Okay, and so here we have our passage that we're going to use for the couple of questions. And notice I only did part of the passage because I wanted to break this passage up into a couple of different question sets. And you can do any editing that you want to do once you get it in there. And I'm going to take out a couple of these spaces here so that it's not quite so spread out. And so we have our passage, and then I'm going to save it. Notice our online layout here. We can either have it go down to the left and right of the page, or we can have it go all the way across. In this case, it's going down the left side of the page. And this is what our passage would look like. If we wanted to make any edits to it, we could here, or we could copy it for some future purpose. Right now there are no items linked to this passage, but we can link items to this passage, so we can create questions to go along with it, and it says items linked to passage, and we can add a new item to that passage. In this case, we're going to do a multiple choice question, and so we are going to add content. The standard that we are going to be using is going to be RI 3.1. So we're going to look up for that standard. And so as we look up this standard, we're just going to expand these so that we can see all of our different standards. And we are specifically looking at RI 3.1. So we'll scroll until we find that. And we'll click on that and say done. And once we've done that, we're going to go and create the content of our question. All right, since we're borrowing this question, of course, anytime that you're using a question that you didn't create, be very, very careful. That's certainly not something you would share with others or share up to the school or district level. This is not my question, so I will keep it at my classroom level. So my question is, which detail about Malaka helps explain the strange sound she was making? And I'm actually just going to copy and paste this right in here. And go back to our page and do a Control V. All right, and so I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to click there to add my answer choices. And again, since this has already been done for me, if you're creating your own, obviously you would simply type in your answer choices, but because for illustrative purposes, I'm just going to copy and paste. It's what's already here. And so as I'm copying and pasting, again, please be very, very careful that if you are using a test question that you did not create, that you give credit, but also know that you don't present it as your own. So be very careful. All right, so in this case, again, I'm getting this from a New York assessment, and we now have all of our pieces now in here. And so now we have to select the correct answer. In this case, the correct answer is C. So the correct answer is C. And we're just going to click on that. And in this case, we said the answer is worth 1 point. If we want it to be more than 1 point, we can certainly change that. This is an editable text box. All right. And so now that we've done that, we say save, and it already has the passage that we're going to be adding it to here. And now when we go look up copycat elephants with this particular part of the passage, we see that that is one of the questions tied to it. So if you look here, it says items linked to passage. We now have one. If we wanted to continue to add more, we could. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back to our assessment admin, and we're going to create. We want to create another passage. So this is the second part of this passage. So we're going to say copycat elephants. And we're going to put part 2 here so that we know that this is the second piece of this. And again, this would be the English language and literature subject. Our grade level, again, it's grade 3. And then we're simply going to go in and copy the remainder of the passage. And that will be all of this. Okay. And again, we'll just copy. It can be your Control-C, or you can use the right click, whichever is more convenient for you. And we're going to go paste to Word. And we'll do a Control-V here. And we then insert it. And just simply like that, we have put the rest of the passage in here. If you want to go in again and edit and take out a couple of the spaces, in my case, I'd like it to look a little cleaner than it does. Then we can do that. And then I'm going to simply save it. And so when students see it, it will look just like this. And in this case, I could add items if I choose to go along with this part of the passage as well. So I have selected an item that I want to go along with this part of the passage. So we'll go ahead and pull that up. It is going to be a multiple choice item, and I'm also going to go back to my same source here, and we're going to use this item here, read the sentence from page 7. So I'm simply going to copy this. Again, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. The content for the question simply goes here. And notice when I don't do the paste from Word, in this case I wasn't pasting from a Word document, it is not going to keep the formatting the same, so I am going to have to do a little work here and make that bold. So it is best if you can pull it from Word that you do. So let me clean this up just a wee bit here and give myself some space. Not quite that much space. And now that I've done that, we're going to save it. And again, our answer choices, again, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, so we're going to go right back to our answer choices, and I'm going to copy and paste those into our letter content. And as we're doing that, again, please be reminded, and I know that I've said this before, that this is not my test question, and I am certainly not presenting it as my own. This is simply for illustrative purposes. One of the things that we're going to have to do, which I have not done yet with this test question, is we're going to have to place the standards in here. So as we're looking for questions that go along with specific standards, I have tagged it appropriately. And we're going to tag this as 3.4 because I think that it is a better selection than 3.1. Okay, so we have now put all of our answer choices in. We're going to go to our standard lookup, and we're going to open up our we said that we're going to do 3.4 here, and we'll say done. And now that we've done that, we can save it. And note it is saved to that copy elephant part 2 Oops, I didn't actually save that as the right passage, and I can always go back and edit that. So that is saved, and then we go back to our. Oh, I didn't choose my my correct answer. That's what it's telling me here. In this case, our correct answer is B. So we're going to go back to our question, make sure we choose the correct answer, and now that we've done that, it should save properly. All right, perfect. So you can see here's my passage. I am going to edit my passage. The only reason I'm going to edit is I'm going to edit the name to be correct. So it's going to be part 2. So once you've done it, you can always go back and make any edits that you'd like to either your passage name, or the questions that are attached to your passage. Okay, and then your options are now you can copy this. You could add to the test. You can, delete the passage if you feel like that's not what you want. And so now we have created 2 parts of this passage into 2 pieces and questions that go along with each part of the passage. As always, if you have any questions or you need additional assistance, please do not hesitate to send me an email at dramseur@hcs.k12.nc.us. Thank you.